This place really beats loud for the community, and it's one of the community's best kept secrets, I believe.
Because it takes care of the artist comes out, gives a great performance, the audience gets a beautiful experience, like everybody's winning, truly.
You know, there are some musicians who do not get the opportunity to come in here. It's almost like a badge of honor, like you put the spot on Kirk? How'd you get that gig?
They're not the rich and famous. Their profit comes not from the thing they sell, but the good they do. Our nation has more than 1.5 million nonprofits that employ 1 out of 10 Americans, providing services that otherwise go unfulfilled, keeping our community connected when all else fails. But nonprofits often lack the tools to properly promote themselves, to inspire more donors and volunteers and clients to their cause. That's where I come in. I've been in the nonprofit world for nearly 20 years. I connect nonprofits with marketing professionals who donate their time and expertise so that, at the end of the day, these life-giving organizations can do more, do better, by creating more, that's right, buzz.
Buzz would not be without Bruce C. Bryan. As the president of the Roanoke, Virginia marketing firm 5 Points Creative, Bruce was the first to say yes to my pitch in 2019 to create a TV show featuring nonprofits and the marketing professionals who donate their time and talent helping these organizations achieve more buzz. Including that pilot episode in which he helped Healing Strides of Virginia, Bruce and 5 Points Creative have donated marketing assets to 9 different nonprofits on Buzz. So for their 10th Buzz episode, we wanted to feature a nonprofit that holds a special spot in Bruce's heart. Usually on Buzz, the nonprofit takes center stage, but for Bruce, this nonprofit is the stage itself.
People ask me all the time, what does a music venue have to do with an ad agency? And the answer is absolutely nothing. But our office was down on Kirk Avenue. This was an empty building that had been a music venue. It was a science experiment, a placemaking experiment. Could you take an empty room and make it a music venue? And it was around for 5 years as the Kirk Avenue Music Hall. And it had been empty, the room had been for about 3 years, and I thought, we need to bring this back or else it's just gonna be an office again or something else. And I went to the landlord and said, hey, could we make this happen? And they said yes, and we had a plan, and 9 years later, here we are.
The spot on Kirk prides itself as a listening room for arts lovers and a rite of passage for artists seeking to take the stage.
So I'm not saying that it happens all the time this way, but I can tell you there have been a lot of artists that started out as the opener, and then over time they became the headlining performer. That's happened many times.
My name is Amy Trowell, and I am a performer of improvisation. I am part of the professional improv troupe, the Big Lick Conspiracy. We've been around Roanoke for well over a decade, and we've been performing at the Spot on Kirk for several years now.
My name is Brian Harvest Black Hancock. Black is spelled B-L-A-Q-U-E. I am the lead of the band Harvest Black and Squad Soul. I'm a poet, a writer. I just recently released an album called The Care Package, which is a hip-hop/spoken word album.
Hi, my name is Sarah Hobbs. I work at WVTF Public Radio by day, and by night I have helped out here at the Spot on Kirk in downtown Roanoke as a volunteer, as a part-time venue manager and bartender, and also as a musician performer.
I'm Corey Hunley, singer-songwriter from a small town, still in a small town, and in music as much as I can.
I'm John Pence. I'm the venue manager here at the Spot on Kirk. Back in 2016, I actually got done with school at Berklee College of Music, and I came back, and within a couple months, this place was opening up. I was like, I gotta get involved with that.
My name is Brooke Miller. I work for National Bank of Blacksburg as a commercial lender. I don't play, I'm not a performer in any way, but I just love live music. It's just always been a part of my life. I am a board member of the Spot on Kirk and a frequent volunteer.
Hi, my name is Will Farmer, and I'm a huge live music fan. I came to know the spot about 15 years ago as a fan. I first started coming to the spot to listen to music and to show up and hear what was happening around town. And so I started as a fan of live music here. And then as a performer, I'm a musician. I love to write and play music, acoustic music, bluegrass, rock, kind of a mix of things. I had the opportunity to play. And so I've played here, I think it's about 7 times now. I had my EP release here last summer. My Appalachian Heart, and it's just an incredible venue, an incredible space. And then most recently I joined the board of directors at the Spot on Kirk. I have a huge passion for live music in our region and felt like the opportunity to jump in and serve was available to me. And so Bruce invited me and I've been here ever since.
So this room has no TVs, it has no distractions. You're kind of just looking at the stage. And I really love that. I mean, it's all about the music. It's all about what's being brought to you. And so I think this room is very special.
Gosh, it's almost indescribable. It's just so wonderful. I mean, when a room filled with laughter and knowing that you said something that ignited that laughter, but you're sharing that moment with an audience. We learned so much during the times when we couldn't be in front of live audiences, how important it is to share space. And this space particularly, again, because you've got that closeness, you're really sharing that moment. It's energetic, like you're sharing an energy, and it's pretty magical, honestly.
Getting started, the Spot on Kirk and the people who have worked here over the years have called me up, whether it to be work with some of my heroes out of town. I got to open up for A+, who is like a LA hip hop underground artist who performed here. And, you know, I got to meet one of my heroes here. And so they did that for me, and it nurtured my creativity. And to have those conversations with people who are considered the greats in my field to say, hey, you're doing it, you know? Once
we were able to move a little bit into actual venues, performing here was a cool and great thing for us. It felt professional. I'm sure we had Marshall running sound for us here. We had a lot of our friends here, but also a lot of folks we didn't know, a lot of folks we hadn't met before, and it was a really just awesome experience. So.
I got a phone call. There was a singer-songwriter who I have known forever. He was big. His name was Daryl Scott. I got a phone call from the booking agent at the time and said, hey, I want you to come open up for Daryl Scott. Okay. Yeah, so that was the first time to come in here to play. It was a sold-out show. Everyone that comes to this show typically will listen, regardless of who's on stage. They will listen to see what the performer's going to do. So it was overwhelming to be able to do that as a younger singer-songwriter, to be put in front of someone of Daryl Scott's stature, to me.
For me, when I come into the venue, the people in the room, the energy that happens on stage, there's just something spiritual that happens when you show up in this place. Music transforms. In the world today, we're really busy. We got our cell phones, everything's happening in real time, but for me, the spot is a place to come and sit and be present and let all those distractions go away and just lean into the music.
I want to bring something that Roanoke needs. Maybe they didn't know they needed it. I love that when you look at every month, there's like literally a little bit of everything. I mean, we'll have some metal shows, we'll have hip hop, we'll have just all kinds of things. I love it.
You can't really win anywhere else until you win in your own backyard. And so this place really is an antenna for the backyard. And they're calling a lot of giants in. And so you never know what you're gonna see on certain nights when you come here. And it's actually a very, very great nurturing environment, especially if you want to experiment with your art. They let you do that, and they call you up and they treat you with dignity and respect and professionalism. And you don't get that a lot of places, you know? You don't get that a lot of places. You get it here, though.
I came here in 2017 not knowing a lot of people, and it attracts a group of people who, again, are just coming to listen to music and building relationships based on your love of music.
And I think we get very separated, and then we forget how important that is. And we think we're having that kind of connection, but until you're experiencing it, gosh, it's really what it's like to be alive. I mean, this is what it is, really, right?
Thank you so much for coming here on the Bus for Good and helping out another great nonprofit. And in this case, we have Bruce Bryan here, who is kind of filling two roles for the first time on Buzz. We've got Bruce as the president of the nonprofit that is going to be receiving some buzz from Bruce's marketing agency, 5 Points Creative. Kind of a unique situation.
Michael, thank you so much for helping the Spot on Kirk. John and I have been talking for a while about some things that we need, and one is a compelling video that can help the new board members and help potential sponsors and artists as they're traveling into town get a good flavor for what the spot's about, to kind of create some warmth and awareness for what we're trying to do.
And we're going to create that for you guys, and we are thrilled to be able to do that. Our videographer extraordinaire, Dan Mirolli, has already started shooting some great video and is really excited about putting together a little promo video for you guys.
We're really excited about that. I think it's going to help us a lot. And John, I think you'll be able to use it a lot in recruiting artists to come and play at the spot too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Well, we're excited to be working with you all for sure. Obviously with Bruce's involvement, both with 5 Points Creative and the Spot on Kirk, we've been supporters since day one. So we are definitely excited to do this next phase of a website for you, rather. So, I think we'll get some great information today, and we will build on what we have in our long relationship together and get you a great functional website that'll serve for many years to come.
By now, I knew the Spot on Kirk had helped launch and showcase artists from around the region and world. But perhaps its most unique and traveled act was born out of pain in an apartment just around the corner.
Hi, I'm Keith Alessi. I'm a neighborhood resident. I stumbled into the spot one night, and that led to an improbable journey that took me, who's not an actor or a musician, on an episode and an adventure that has taken me around the world, performing a show over 400 times, raising over $750,000 for charity in the process. And it all started in this room, empty, me and a technician. I hadn't been on stage since 1972 in high school, and it led me to selling out a run off Broadway and winning awards at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland. I told you, it's a highly improbable story. I'm an accountant by training. I had a lifelong obsession with the banjo, which I couldn't play. But I built a world-class banjo collection with the theory that someday I was going to get to it. The banjo, the most frustrating of the stringed instruments. Difficult to play, almost impossible to keep in tune. I rose through the business world. I was a CEO of a number of publicly held companies, multinational corporations, and I literally resigned my job on a Monday morning to go all in on learning the banjo when I was 61 years old. And 2 weeks later, I was told I had a year to live. I had esophageal cancer. And it launched me on a journey of throwing myself into learning how to play the banjo. And that led me to a situation where people were saying, Keith, you need to tell this story because you're not supposed to be here. My probability of living 5 years was about 14% at the time. I'm now 9 years post-diagnosis. And how am I going to tell my story? Well, the only way people like me get to tell our story is through independent theaters, small theaters, places like The Spot. And I started on this journey late in 2018. My first shows were at the Toronto Fringe Festival up in Canada. I'm a dual U.S.-Canadian citizen. The show got panned. People said, this doesn't rise to the level of a theatrical production. This is a TED Talk, which it was. I was used to being in boardrooms. I'd also taught college up at W&L and at VMI and University of Michigan, my alma mater. But from the very first show, people were coming out of the audience and the show had resonated with them because it's an inspirational true story about the healing power of music and the arts. Now, my road, it's been full of challenges and obstacles, and it was never a function of if they were showing up, it was when. And when they did, what choices did I make? Choices have consequences on the rest of the journey. There are certainly obstacles in life too large to be overcome. We have no choice. But each and every one of us do have a choice about what we put in our closets. In my case, it was the banjo. My pursuit of the banjo led me to a circle of musicians here in Southwest Virginia where I found healing, both emotional and physical. And I'm still at best on a good day an intermediate player. I'm by no means a great banjo player, but I tell the story how my journey took me to that healing place. And the spot was integral to it all because I knew Bruce as a patron here at the spot, and he offered me the space to try to work it out. And I literally on this stage got in front of a microphone for the first time since senior high school, 1972, to try to figure it out. And that show, we went all across Canada that year, and by the end of the year, we ended up in Vancouver. We were getting pretty good reviews. In 2019, we broke out, sold out a run off Broadway. We're getting great reviews, and we were all set up to go in 2020. What could possibly happen? The world ended. But at the end of COVID, we came out of that and hit the road again, and we've been 3 times now to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where we've sold out twice and got the pick of a Fringe Award. We're moving up into a bigger venue this year at Edinburgh. And we donate 100% of our gate to charity, cancer charities and theater charities. The spot has benefited from it as well as others. And what's really been striking to me, because I approach it from a business standpoint, is that post-COVID, small independent theaters have really suffered because people during COVID changed the way they consumed entertainment. Plus, economy being what it is, entertainment dollars the last dollar they've got in those budgets. So it's important. Everybody's got a story, and those stories don't get told if it isn't for places like Spot on Kirk and similarly situated small independent venues that give everybody access to what's become an increasingly corporate, electronic, you look at a screen-driven kind of entertainment world. So the name of the show is Tomatoes Tried to Kill Me, but Banjos Saved My Life. And it always grabs people's attention. They don't know what it's about. And both the banjos and the tomatoes are metaphors. I grew up first-generation American, parents from Italy. I was in a very abusive household. And so the tomatoes represent the family I grew up in. But they also represent the acid reflux that gave me my esophageal cancer. And the banjos represent, obviously, physical banjos, which helped me heal, but they also represent the life I chose versus the life I was born into. And along this journey, serendipity has played such a big role. Meeting Bruce Bryan here got me launched, and along the way, the right people were at the show on the right nights. People walked into the theater. I had a gentleman walk into the theater in Edinburgh, Scotland in 2023. He was from Nashville, a former promoter. I did 2 shows at the Bluebird Cafe on January 2nd last year. We sold it out. I mean, I'm standing on that stage and I'm looking at the pictures of all the people who played that venue, and I'm saying, what the heck am I doing here? And, we're not in Kansas anymore. I'm sitting outside a box office in Edmonton, Alberta, playing my banjo, trying to stir up interest in the show. Reviewer for the local CTV, which is kind of like the Fox network up in Canada. It's a national network. He sits down next to me, asks me who I am, what's up. I end up on TV 3 times. He makes me the pick of the largest festival in North America, which is Edmonton. And it was full theaters from that day on. We had people from Adelaide, Australia, walk into our theater in Edinburgh, and we ended up doing, run in Adelaide last year. So I've done almost 400 shows in the U.S., Canada, UK, Scotland, and Australia. And I live in Roanoke, Virginia, playing a banjo, and I'm an accountant. So it's been an interesting journey. And my message to people is always, I had 52 banjos in my closet. I couldn't play one of them. So I always challenge people at the end of the show, what's in your closet? Why are they in there? What drew you to those things? Why'd you keep them? If you don't know, get them out, find out. It's never too late. You don't know where those things are going to take you, but they might not take you where you think you will, but they might take you where you're supposed to be. And for me, I find myself at 70 years old, my life would be very different. It's the most gratifying thing I've ever done. I have plenty of reasons to get up in the morning, but it gives me a different kind of purpose on a personal level that I didn't find in the business world or in some of the other endeavors I had. Had I received this diagnosis 5 years earlier, I'm not here. But the survival rates now on esophageal cancer, 5-year, at the time I got it, 5-year survivability is about 14%. Now it's a little over 20, 25%, which is a pretty big move. And I feel good, and I'm going to keep going as long as I'm supposed to be here.
All right, gentlemen. Well, welcome to 5 Points Creative. Bruce, I know it was a long walk for you to get down here. We're super excited to show you your new website. I think it's going to be great not only for concert goers, but to attract great artists, to attract the best sponsors, and also so donors can be more involved and get more information in a timely manner. I know Dan's got some details to share here, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yeah, we've loved building this website for you. I know the last time when we built the website, the spot was in a certain place, and now over time you've changed and grown and evolved, and you needed a website to support where you're at now. And that's what we've been able to build for you. So I do think this website has everything that you asked for, everything you need, and I'd love to show it to you. So here's the homepage. This will be the first thing that visitors see, and it has a number of upcoming shows, and it's very easy to maintain and keep up to date. And keep adding shows as they come up. So we do have some other information about the shows there on that homepage, as well as the sponsors, because the spot is a nonprofit, so you need to have the sponsors on there.
We're always giving them love.
Exactly.
We can to keep them happy.
Got to thank them for what they do. And then one of the things we talked about was giving a way for people to volunteer and donate, and we've made those very prominent on the homepage as well.
Awesome. I like how you use the color to get people to take action, if it's to donate or to volunteer. You kept the black and white kind of feel of it, which matches the vibe and the branding, but where there's a place we want people to do something, you've used color to kind of call it out.
Yeah, and I do feel like there's less clutter, and it's like to the point. I really like it.
It is much more streamlined now, for sure. One of the new pages on this website will be rentals. As the spot has moved into the event rental space, you need an area for people to come to the website and easily find out that information. So we have created a rentals page. It's very easy to find and very easy to navigate to. That will include all of the necessary information for event rentals, plus the contact information.
And then John will be able to edit that pretty easily as well.
Exactly.
So thank you very much for the work. It's kind of a weird place to be, but with this being our 10th Buzz for Good episode for 5 Points Creative, it means a lot to me personally, obviously. But the work that you all did for the Spot on Kirk means a ton to the nonprofit, and John and I are appreciative of that. We know that we're going to have a site that we'll be able to edit and use much more easily, and that, John, the work that you're doing in booking the talent and in making sure people know it's an event venue that people can rent and use is going to be, I think, going to be propelled forward by this new website. And so we're really excited about having it at our disposal as we move into our 9th year of operating at Spot on Kirk. So thank you all.
Great.
And as for that promotional video that Bruce Bryan wanted for the Spot on Kirk to get more buzz, our videographer, Dan Mirolli, created this.
So this is a place that is very receptive to the needs of the music community.
You played the Spot on Kirk? How'd you get that gig?
It treats its artists of all types, of all genres, like rock stars.
The artist comes out, gives a great performance. The audience gets a beautiful experience. Like, everybody's winning, truly.
I think a lot of the musicians who play here are super down to earth, and they're like super talented, and you're like, wow, they're so nice too. That's wild.
And what makes the Spot on Kirk special is the oxygen that comes in and out of this room. It's really just an empty room with a brick wall until the artists get here, and then when the audience gets here. And it's the interaction between the audience and the artist that really makes all the difference.
I think the Spot on Kirk makes Roanoke better because it invites in everyone. Everyone is welcome here. If you're willing to come in and hear live music, you can be a part of what we're building here.
Thanks, y'all. Vice President, we're signing for you after the second set.